Have you ever looked up at the night sky and just wondered, you know, if history holds secrets we haven't quite figured out yet, secrets just waiting there?
Before we jump into today's mystery, just a quick heads up. We're looking at some really compelling imagery from this Nuremberg event today, and if you find it as fascinating as we do, you can actually get a stunning digital artwork of the historical engraving. It's print ready. You can find it over at the Pixartica Collective Etsy shop and also on Pixartica.com. We've put all the links in the description for you. Right, welcome to the Deep Dive, where we try to bring you the most fascinating insights. Today, we're heading back, way back actually, to 1561 to dig into El Misterio Celestial de Nuremberg, the celestial mystery of Nuremberg.
Yeah, and our goal today is really to get into not just what people thought they saw back then, but also to explore the incredible range of ways this single event has been interpreted over the centuries.
Yeah.
And maybe understand why it still grabs our imagination today, why it still feels so unknown.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Nuremberg, dawn, April 14th, 1561. What on earth did people see up there? Well, it's quite something. The most detailed account comes from this printed news sheet, a broadsheet, by a man named Hans Glaser. Witnesses describe the sky just filling up with things they couldn't explain. Spheres, loads of them, different colors, cylinders too, and blood red crosses, luminous rods, even what they called a huge black spearhead, apparently all emerging from the sun. Then they described this aerial struggle, a battle lasting over an hour.
A battle in the sky.
That's how they put it. Objects flying around, clashing. And then, the really dramatic part, some of these things apparently fell to Earth just outside the city, covered in smoke. Glaser's woodcut engraving really captures it. Not just the objects, but the sheer panic and awe you imagine people felt.
Wow, okay, that's bizarre and frankly terrifying. So how did people even start to make sense of something like that? The interpretations must have been all over the place.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where it gets really interesting, seeing how different times, different mindsets tried to frame it. Early on, there was a strong esoteric angle. Some saw it as, vehicles of light or maybe cosmic energy. Even this idea of a portal between dimensions came up.
A portal?
Yeah, or links to Hermeticism, which was big then, that as above, so below idea. So maybe the chaos in the sky was mirroring the religious wars and general upheaval happening down on Earth in 16th century Europe.
Right, so connecting celestial events directly to earthly turmoil. Makes sense for the time.
Exactly. And some took it even further, describing it almost like ufology in an alchemical key, seeing the event as some kind of mystical transformation happening up there.
Okay, so that's the mystical side.
Yeah.
But then it seems to have echoed through culture in different ways. You mentioned cultural echoes like Lovecraftian cosmic terror. How did that connection happen?
Well, the sheer strangeness of it, the incomprehensibility, makes it perfect fodder for that kind of horror. Lovecraft's whole thing was humanity facing vast, ancient, unknowable forces.
I can see that parallel.
Yeah. And in more modern sci-fi, comics, pop culture, it gets literalized. It becomes an actual interstellar battle. You see influences on album covers and video game plots. It taps into that deep-seated wonder and, let's be honest, fear about what might be out there.
And speaking of interstellar battles, that leads us straight into the more direct ufological take, right? That really picked up in the mid-20th century.
That's right. When the modern UFO craze started, people looked back. They rediscovered accounts like Nuremberg. And for many ufologists, this looked like clear evidence, a literal dogfight between alien craft.
The descriptions of objects, the fighting, things falling.
Exactly. They saw the falling objects as proof, as debris. And that's where you start getting the early conspiracy theories, too.
Like the idea that wreckage was found.
Precisely. Suggestions that debris was collected and hidden by authorities, that whole narrative of cover-ups, which, is still very much alive today in UFO circles.
It's fascinating how we project our current ideas back like that. But then Carl Jung offered a totally different lens, didn't he? A psychological one.
He did. A really profound shift in perspective. Jung wasn't necessarily focused on whether it physically happened exactly as described. He talked about the collective unconscious, the shared pool of symbols, myths deep in the human psyche.
Right.
His idea was that the people of Nuremberg, consciously or unconsciously, projected their own anxieties onto the sky. Think about it. It was a time of immense fear, religious conflict, plague.
So the sky became a sort of screen for their collective inner state.
Kind of, yeah. A reflection of the era's turmoil, their hopes, their deepest fears, all playing out on this vast cosmic canvas. It shows our fundamental human need to find meaning, even if that meaning comes from within ourselves.
So after all this time, nearly 460 years,
Right.
What do we take away from it? It still feels unsettling, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
And it forces us to ask, what was it? A really unusual atmospheric phenomenon? Some kind of sundog or meteorological marvel we don't fully get? Or was it seen as a divine sign, a warning? Or was it something else entirely? An encounter with something truly unknown? Glazer's engraving, the story, it lasts because it hits something fundamental in us. That mix of fascination and fear about the skies, about what might be hidden just beyond our sight. It reminds you that the line between what we consider natural and supernatural can sometimes feel very, very thin. What really stands out to you when you hear about it?
Yeah, it definitely makes you think and maybe question how we interpret the unexplained today. Does this ancient event challenge our modern assumptions? What biases do we bring when we face something we just can't explain? Something to ponder. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the celestial mystery of Nuremberg. And just a final reminder, if you want to own a piece of this visual history, that amazing digital artwork of Glazer's engraving is available, ready to print. You can find it at the Pixartica Collective Etsy shop in pixartica.com. Check the description for those links. Until next time, keep exploring.